Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. And in this one, I like to showcase what I think is the best EX deck from Destined Rivals, which is of course going to be Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. Now, I think this deck kind of beat out Cynthia's Garchomp for this title because I think those two were like the nominations, I guess, for like the best EX from this set. But I think for me personally, Team Rocket's Mewtwo just edged out Cynthia's Garchomp slightly just because I think overall I just enjoy playing Team Rocket's Mewtwo a lot more, and I feel overall it just has a better time against a more variety of decks. Now, maybe that's not true for everyone, and I am just a filthy casual who exclusively plays TCG Live. I don't even play IRL anymore, really, hardly. So I just play on TCG Live, I just play on like casual, I play on ranked and stuff. So like I'm not a very competitive player, right? I'm not like Azul GG or whatever, I don't compete in these major events. However, I do have a lot of fun on TCG Live. So, Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX has 208 HP. It is a Psychic type. It has the very annoying ability Power Saver, where Mewtwo basically takes the huff and says this Pokemon can't attack unless you have 4 more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. So do make sure that you actually have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, and don't do what I've done several times, which is think, oh, I can just use a Razor Ball for 160 and do nothing else. No, you do need the other Pokemon in play. It's kind of important. So yeah, it's also why this deck plays a lot of basics. You just need to get easy Pokemon down. So that's the ability. Also got the attack Erasure Ball for 2 Psychic and a Colorless. Does 160 damage, and you may discard up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. And this attack does 60 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. So with a nice cap of 280, it's really nice. Now, I know Garchomp can technically do all the way up to like 280 with Roserade and stuff and go all the way and beyond, but Garchomp also discards its own energy, whereas Mewtwo, you're discarding energy from the bench. And I've just found it a lot easier to set up things like Spidops, which can charge up energy to itself, and then, Mewtwo just discards it for easy 280 every time. Like, this is not so easy to, like, get off running, like, turn 1 or, like, turn 2, I would say. Like, I mean, technically you could, with enough work and enough effort, you could maybe get this off turn 1 going second, but, like, it would require a lot of effort and a lot of like Crispin Turbo Patch shenanigans, which I'm not willing to really delve into today. But like later on in the mid to late game, for sure, like you have all your Spidops going and you can attack with them. So yeah, Spidops can also attack. It is worth mentioning that Rocket Rush is a really solid attack. Does 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. And then Team Rocket's Articuno, which this deck does play 1 copy of Water Energy, so like you can actually attack with Team Rocket's Articuno if you really want to. I don't recommend it. Like, you can probably just cut the Water Energy for another Psychic. Like, it's not crucial that you can attack with Articuno, but if you really wanted to, you can. But Repelling Veil says prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon, and existing effects are not removed, and damage, of course, is not an effect. But still a very nice ability to have in the deck. And then Team Rocket's Mimikyu has Gemstone Mimikry, which, to be honest, I don't think is super useful, and I can see why most lists online only play 1 copy of Mimikyu, because, honestly, there's just not that many Terra-type attackers in Standard. Like, yeah, there's Dragapult, yeah, there's Charizard, but really beyond that, like, a lot of the meta right now is things like Grimmsnarl and stuff, so, like, Team Rocket's Mimikyu, not as strong as it looks on paper, but still a very good card. It can still do a ton of damage for just 2 energy or Team Rocket's energy. It does have free retreat, which is really nice, so having free retreat is great because it just means that if you have to like use charge up on Spidops and then energy switch and then use a Team Rocket's energy for minor attachment on turn, then you can just get a Mewtwo out of nowhere and you don't have to have like a Giovanni or something in hand. So yeah, having a free retreat pivot is really nice in the deck. Yeah, that's kind of it for Pokemon. As for trainers, I would say we have Proton, which is probably one of the more important cards in the deck. And it's why Mewtwo is really good going first. Like, you don't have to worry about like having to go second, or like if you have to go first, then sometimes it can be terrible with these sorts of decks. But having Proton just means going first really isn't that bad. And honestly, I've preferred going first in all my games so far, I would say. But search your deck for 3 basic Team Rockets Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Glorious just means you can find Mewtwo and Spidops. So, well, not Spidops, but you know what I mean, like Little Spider. Tarountula, that's his name. Also got 4 copies of Ariana, which is basically the draw engine of this deck. Draw until you have 5 cards in hand, but if all your Pokemon are Team Rocket's Pokemon, then you draw until you have 8. So it's always going to be a draw until you have 8 in this deck. Like, you could make room for Budew or like Pheasantipity if you wanted some extra draw power, but in all honesty, I just think Ariana is a very good draw supporter. So, that's it really. I don't want to make room for Iono and other stuff. So it's nice having like just a Team Rocket's thematic deck as well. So, I'm a little bit biased here. I like Team Rocket. But yeah, Team Rocket's Giovanni, again, it's basically just Guzma. So lovely card. I would like to make room for a third copy. I'm just not sure quite yet what to cut for it. Maybe the Petrel, because I've never really had to use it. Like, search your deck for a trainer card. It can be good, and it's like a pseudo draw engine with like Team Rocket's Factory, because then you can just draw 2 cards after using Petrel, which is nice. And that's also like a good thing about using Proton in the mid to late game. But like maybe you could cut like one of the 4 Protons for a third Giovanni or something. Like, you probably don't need 4 Protons, to be honest, but it also like makes it a bit easier if someone get prized or whatever. But Team Rocket's Transceiver can search your deck for Proton, so you have outs as well to that Proton going first. But yeah, 8 copies apiece, you should be able to get the 3 basics. So yeah, as mentioned earlier, Team Rocket's Factory, just a great draw support option. Also play Maximum Belt as the A spec of choice. I just like the plus 50 damage boost. Like, I haven't felt the need to change it really. Like, you could maybe do Hero's Cape, because I think 308 HP on a Mewtwo would be a bit silly, and that would put you at like Mega Venusaur HP levels, which would be fun. But to be honest, I don't think it's necessary, and like Maximum Belt seems absolutely fine right now. So it also just makes Spidops a bit more threatening. So like you can just throw Spidops out and do a ton of damage and you catch your opponent off guard really. But overall, I think the ace spec could be changed. That's absolutely fine. Team Rocket's Archer, again, very useful. I think Ariana, Proton, and Giovanni are just a bit more important, but Team Rocket's Archer can be good against things like Garchomp, which doesn't have a great draw engine and can break horribly. So having Team Rocket's Archer against a Garchomp deck kind of just forces them to use a Corkscrew dive. So again, this is another reason why I don't like Garchomp right now, is because it bricks sometimes. So having Team Rocket's Archer is a nice plus on that deck. So yeah, I do like being able to shrink those decks down to a low hand size. But typically, most decks in Standard have Pheasantipity, they have Ogerpons, they have, Rotom or whatever it is. They have, not Rotom, the Dunsparce, that's the one. They have plenty of draw options. But Archer can be quite nice. Grimmsnarl is another one that doesn't play like a dedicated draw engine most of the time. But yeah, it's nice to have a way to shut them down, really. Yeah, as for energy, again, I don't think the water energy is super crucial in this deck. You could cut it for like another psychic. That would be, like a reasonable take, to be honest. It just means that like you have more ways of friendly attaching energies to Mewtwo, not Mewtwo. Well, yeah, Mewtwo, that's what I mean. Because like you kind of can't commit multiple grass or like water energy to Mewtwo. It has to be psychic and a Team Rockets, or like Team Rockets and a grass. But like it just gets a bit weird if you end up discarding too many psychic energy, I found. So yeah, I would just recommend maybe like cutting the water and swapping out for another grass or a psychic. But overall, the deck has been more than serviceable so far. But yeah, maybe I'm gassing up Mewtwo too much. I do like this deck a lot. I do enjoy playing it. So like, let me know if you've had a very different experience with Mewtwo. Has it been terrible for you without a draw engine? But do let me know what you think down below. Spinero Power. And yeah, I'll maybe do Cynthia's Garchomp at some point in the future. But the deck has been very disloyal so far. But yeah, thank you for watching. The problem we have is that Toadsquirrel can one-shot us. And if they can one-shot us before we can attach enough energy to kill them, then yeah, that's a problem. Alright, so they have the Iono. Maybe I should have benched the other Mewtwo. Alright, we do get a Rocket's Energy, that's good. So we might want to just Rocket's Energy this guy, Transceiver for the... Yeah, Transceiver for Giovanni maybe, depending on what they do. We really need to remove Toadsquirrel though. So we can do enough damage, right, to deal with this? Yes, we can. Yeah. Although, no we can't, can we? Because we'd have to discard the Team Rocket's energy to do enough damage. That's annoying. Okay, we do get Vessel though, so we can Vessel away... We can Vessel away the Spidops. And then we can Ultra Ball away the energy. Yeah, I think that has to be the plan. So yeah, we'll get these out the deck. And then we'll Ultra Ball discard them. Game's being very unresponsive today, sadly. Yeah, it's going to be like my last game of the day, I think. Discard these 2 energy. Then we can get... I mean, I don't think it really matters what we grab here, but I will just take the Mimikyu for now. And then I will Rockets Receiver for the Giovanni. Although we could get rid of Fez. I don't hate that idea either. Yeah, we could just remove Fez. Like, Fez is not a bad move, I don't think. Yeah. I quite like that idea, actually. So yeah, I might do that. I might just remove Fez and Dippity. And that way they're not drawing any more cards that they can utilize. So we'll Giovanni. Bring out the Fez. No more cards for you. Yeah, Toad Squirrel's still a threat, but like... I think we'll be fine. Push comes to shove, we'll remove Toad Squirrel. I mean, everything on their board one-shots us anyway at this point, so... I don't think it really matters all that much in the grander scheme of things. And I won't bench that just yet. So we'll use Erasure Ball. Discarding 2 energy from the Spidops. Yep. And I'll take that one as well, please. Oh wait, I didn't need to do that, did I? I could just discard 1. Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, that was a bit greedy. Didn't need to do that, but I don't think Spidops attacking was going to make too much of a difference. So I think we should be alright. We do get another Giovanni as well. That's really good. So we technically have game in hand. If we just promote Spidops and then... yeah, we can just Giovanni up an Ogerpon. So we do have game. Just because my opponent had 1 bad turn. So there's all 4 Ogerpon. Pretty good. They do research here. Okay, so I had no Iono. What does this Toad Squirrel do? I'm curious. Okay, so it basically just blocks Night Stretcher. That's fine. Bug Catcher for Grass Energy. Might be too little too late because, yeah, I'm pretty sure we've just got game in hand. Yeah, I don't think they can remove 2 threats at the same time, so we'll just have to wait until my opponent plays out their turn. But yeah, this is kind of scary. Like, I've been meaning to give Toad Squirrel a go, but... because I did like Toad Squirrel a lot during the Obsidian Flames format. Like, the card was kind of bugged back then as well, which made winning against Charizard feel a bit rubbish, but it was a lot of fun to play with things like Charm when that was still in rotation. So maybe I should give Toad Squirrel another go. It's definitely a cool deck. Just flood the board with energies and one-shot stuff. But yeah, Toad Squirrel only having 270 HP is a bit of a shame. Does mean you get one shot quite easily. So we don't actually even need to Giovanni, do we? We can just one-shot this. Or one-shot whatever they promote. Yeah, we don't have to Giovanni. Giovanni just prolongs the sequence. We can just Spidops. So my opponent, unfortunately, doesn't know that we have game in hand. They might have an unfair stamp, like maybes, and then we would lose a Giovanni, but that's like the only thing that we can really fear at this point. So yeah, they're doing a lot for their turn, but again, we have the one KO. Maybe they mean to concede at the start of our turn. They're just doing some challenges, which is understandable. You know, everyone wants to get them done. There's nothing worse than trying to complete a few challenges and then your opponent just concedes on like the first turn. So pretty sure my opponent just like wants to get one attack off of Toad Squirrel or something. Like that has to be the reason behind this. There's no way you need anything else. What are you digging for? Like, you're down to 3 cards in deck. You've played a supporter. You're just trying to deck out or something? I mean, if you want to deck out, I'll give you the deck out victory and I'll just pass. Alright, there's the grass energy. And here comes the energy switch. All this to have bragging rights with Toad Squirrel. Honestly. Yeah, because then we just... Yeah, we don't even need Giovanni. We just do the one shot here. So they don't resist us, do they? No. Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen a Toad Squirrel. There's a good shout, though. All the Grimmsnarl and stuff. Grimmsnarl is another deck I've been having a lot of fun with. I do like Grimmsnarl a lot. Colony Rush for 240, so it wasn't actually a one-shot. After all of that. It gets the KO, but like 240 is not 280 though, is it? Which is where Mewtwo comes in. Alright, very anticlimactic way to end this match, but it happens, right? You have one bad turn, you miss something, and then you lose the game. It's just how this game is right now. It's a bit of a shame that it is like that, but can't really be helped. So yeah, we just do the charging up. We do have to double check and make sure there's nothing wrong with the attack cost, but I'm sure we have it fine. So yep, grab an energy. For a second I thought Spidops only grabbed a grass energy, but of course that's not how this goes. So we use charging up again. Sigh. Really long sequence of events. Come on. I know my computer's about to have a meltdown, but just let me get this last victory. So close to the finish line. Yep. And then Erasure Ball. And we will not misclick. Definitely don't want to misclick. That would be horrible. Please, please hurry up. Thank you. There we go. Right, took a lot to get there, but we did get there eventually. We did get there eventually, goodness. Took a couple of years, and my opponent nearly decked out doing it, but yeah, got there eventually.